said there are no ghosts. So this is where the ghosts live, from what we know. And he's not home. Let me see. Let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me. Use me as a vessel. Gross. Nothing. Yeah, no ghosts. So I guess the lesson of Beaver Creek is there's no such thing as ghosts. There's no God, and the Bible is a lie. Off to Helltown to find out what the government's up to in the middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio. Hell yeah, bumping out here. Can I get some of this safety herb in my lung, please? And thank you, are welcome here. Jake, you can't have any because they drug test. Yeah, if you go to work, man, you're gonna get drug tested. Jake, you son of a bitch! You get out here! Hey, Jake! Ain't coming. He ain't coming because he's afraid of me, Brian Quinby from Street Fight Radio. Brett, would you like a shot at Jake?
Yeah.
Oh, I just fell in a hole. That was Jake. That was all Jake. I think we found the ghost. Jake won't let you see your mention. He's like, don't look at your phone while you're at work, motherfucker.
How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do they do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then there is the people just above them. They're the ones that do the second hardest job at the place, right?
Deal with customers?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there's another level above that, and that's the manager that's in the place. Now let's think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months, and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings, shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio, your number one anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We're here again, it's Wednesday night, perfect time for a street fight. You can watch along, chat, whatever it is you want to do on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Jump in the chat. We like to hear from all y'all as you watch the show. You can watch, our facial expressions, see the kind of bullshit that goes down in the studio. Or just keep subscribing as a podcast. That's always just as good. Please leave us good reviews on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, all those places where you find podcasts. If you want more of what we do, as always, patreon.com is the place to support Street Fight Radio. Brian and I, as we continue along this journey to equalize everything for everybody and create a more egalitarian society outside of the realm of American politics. So, that is pretty much the show. If this is your first time, thanks for being here. You know, it might take a second to get used to what we're doing. Every Wednesday night, Brian and I sit in the basement, yell at each other. That's the original iteration of the show. Sunday nights, we take your calls from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. You can call into the show. Tell us what bad gifts you've gotten from your boss this year, stories about drug testing at work, DARE officers, military recruitment, whatever it may be. We take your calls every Sunday night. Thank you for being here. As always, if you want to see the show live, we are doing our very first variety show next Friday, the 27th in Columbus, Ohio at Ruby Tuesday. You can see Street Fight Radio live. We are hosting. We're not doing our normal stand-up that you've seen around the country this year. We are going to be hosting. We're going to be showcasing some of our favorite entertainers, people that we performed this year or years prior. We're going to have the Trillbillies all the way from Kentucky coming up here. They're going to give you a set. We're going to talk to them about their plans for 2020 and how 2019 has gone. We also have Natalie D and Drew Toothpaste from Garbage Brain University podcast. They are going to be, I think they're going to do a quiz, they said. They're going to try to quiz the audience and see how smart they are. So we'll see what they have prepared. Also, guest appearance by Icy Jake. He's going to do a couple of his songs from his album Terrorist Threats, which you can find on all streaming platforms. Cassette tape coming soon from Street Fight Media LLC. But it's going to be an incredible show. I can't wait to kick it off and get it over with so that we can keep doing more of them. I'm very excited about this and ready to do this endeavor.
It's going to be fucking crazy. Yeah, this is our hugest undertaking, I think.
It's a lot of production. Yeah.
Let me just say this. The call-in show was our hugest undertaking, I think, because nothing will ever... This show has to happen at that time. You know what I mean? And no matter what happens, it has to happen. But that call-in show for a period was very touch and go.
Yeah, call-in show. Yeah, it took a while, but once you get used to stuff, you're like, I want to try more. Like the call-in show has become second nature. We do a pretty good job of it each week, but now it's like let's
make it harder.
Yeah, let's make it harder. Let's try to set up a variety show live in front of the entire internet. Yeah.
Hey, so it would be dumb to do this show and not say that Trump has been impeached today for saying Merry Christmas, actually.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, I can't. We got to get him the right way, folks. If you're going to go after him for Merry Christmas, you're going to have to go after me.
No, he got impeached for something that's so twisted up that it's very, like, Kristen... Donna Isabel on Twitter was explaining to me why he got impeached, and just baffling considering like he has done crimes. Like we know that he's doing crimes, but the funny thing about it is the Democrats can't go after him because they're probably doing the same crimes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's one of those moments where you're like, you want to say to somebody, hey, you haven't been doing the dishes. And it's like, oh, wait, I haven't been doing the dishes either. Fuck. They got me.
It's like it's like they're saying it's off limits. You know what I mean? Like hey, enriching your children or having your son, having somebody dig up dirt on your opponent's son is wrong, is what they're saying. And it's like, I mean, isn't like your opponent's son even like having a job kind of like that kind of wrong, like an appointment? So
yeah, I mean, I think I'm more opposed on this because I think it violates the rules of snitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing dirt, you can't like tell on or prosecute somebody else.
That's
like
true.
You have to not be doing it. Like, you can't. That's what makes people mad. Is like, wait, you're a criminal too. What the fuck?
That's
Why are
true.
you telling on me? What do you mean? You doing crimes too? Are you kidding me? I could have impeached you. You know, how many times before?
Well, that's the prediction for me, is these motherfuckers are going to impeach every president for the rest of time now.
Yeah, Bill Clinton got impeached too, right?
I know, he's not going anywhere. And they're just going to impeach each other every 4 years. They're just going to be like, oh, let's impeach this guy for, you know, the regular crimes of the presidency, which is like basically just a big crime job.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I am glad to see at least that it ended up this route. I mean, it's like the system is sitting there supposedly working for us, and it's like, you know, there should be some sort of results. Now, I don't think this is going to be what I think it is. Like, I imagine impeachment means you get crowd surfed into a volcano.
Right. I think impeachment, if you're going to say the word impeachment, you really want to see them like pulling him out of the house and him like crying and saying like, let me back in, all my stuff's in there.
Yeah.
And then like
they throw a box out the window.
Yeah. If it was a movie, that's how you'd impeach people. You know?
I just think of it being fired, you know.
Yeah. It's not even fired though. You know, he's still there.
Yeah.
It's like if he got written up.
That's what
happened.
it was. Okay.
That's all it is. He got a write-up today, and big loss for him, I think. But, you know, we take L's every now and then. I've been written up at every job I've ever had.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of impeachment talk. We're not going to do much more of that. So, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what deflates regular people is when you're like, he's got impeached. You're like, oh, we're actually doing something about him. Like, no, it's just kind of like a designation on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
really. Like the newspapers will write about it, but he's gonna like the government will still be the same.
It's sort of like they're trying to like humiliate him in a way. Yeah. That's what it really is. It comes down to
he's an asshole. He deserves all of it.
He is an asshole. Absolutely. But I mean, it's just like, it seems like, man, you're going to put a bunch of money into just like trying to humiliate a guy instead of actually doing something, you know, like, I don't know what they could do. Healthcare, maybe, with some of that money, all that stuff. There's all kinds of things they could fucking do. Oh, I saw the most infuriating fucking thing this week. Some person was saying that like building the wall is more popular in the country than universal healthcare. And it was just like, that's really not right. That's an extremely wrong thing, because you can, since Obamacare, right? Since that mandate, you can talk anybody into universal health care at this point. Everybody needs it, except for the people on Medicaid, but everybody else
That's proof
needs
that it works, though.
What?
Medicare and Medicaid, that's government shit.
I know, but they won't ever, you know what they think everybody's taking advantage of it except for them.
Right.
You know, like people are getting plastic surgery. Hey, I get a nose job with my Medicaid. I'm living the real life here, you know?
Yeah.
But I've even talked the father-in-law into that. You know, he's just like, if they're going to make you have it, they might as well just give it to us. Like, that is the exact, there's two things you got to say if you're trying to get this to go and you're the president, right? You say, hey, you know, we're making you get it anyway. You might as well have us give it to you. And then the other thing is, like, imagine you could, like, quit your job and work at a record store or something like that. You know, you can fucking write a book. You can do anything.
Free time.
It's so much freedom. It's, like, a lot of freedom for a lot of people. I can't imagine if that thing happens or when that thing happens, the amount of people that are just going to quit their jobs and just be like, I don't fucking need this. I know so many people that are just there for the insurance. You know, they would rather be doing anything else. And the insurance is the thing that sticks them there. It's what stuck me at work for a lot longer than I probably should have been, you know?
Yeah.
That fucking insurance will get you.
Yeah. Even now, though, it's like, they feel like they've got something, but nobody has anything. I haven't heard of a decent plan in a long time.
Nobody. No. Obama posted the other day that, like, you can find plans for as low as $10 a month. And it's like, nobody gets that. Like, the dudes I worked with at the camera store, right? They were making $11 an hour. And they were paying $111 a month for catastrophic insurance.
Yeah.
And they were working in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Which is, like, that's, like, the worst possible. Because you're working in a warehouse, you're going to get fucked up, you know?
Yeah. Whenever they came up with that deductible language, that was like enough. I've never seen, like, there's no such thing as a zero deductible.
No,
right?
No, I've tried to get them on car insurance. I got my car insurance down to like a $50 deductible because I'm like, I'm wrecking this thing all the fucking time.
I mean, like, but health insurance, where like you have to spend $5,000. What's the lowest? I've never seen lower than $5,000.
Yeah, I heard the Trillbillies talking about it the other day, and they all got their insurance, and they were saying that it was a $7,500 thing, and it's like, well, I'm hoping not to use that much.
Right.
You know? It's just such bad plans. It's like such a industry that's like, I know it's like, what are they going to do for their jobs? What are we going to do about the jobs? And I was like, well, fucking, you can take any job you want at that point. Like you can't, because I know people that have waited tables that make more than they've ever made at the office. My wife made more waiting tables at the golf course we worked at than she's ever made at her job now, you know? She did, for real. They got automatic gratuity on every
that's nice.
bill. You get like at least 10% on every check. So she made more than she does now. And like some people would take like that low stress job, like or not low stress, but like bartending jobs and stuff like that. Like there are jobs out there for people. If they were covered, they would take them and do them.
I mean, well, I have to say, so Pete Buttigieg, dude is great. He's like a really good villain.
He's a CIA
I think
guy.
he's fucking good villain.
I think he's a CIA guy.
And I do like how he came up with the, like, all the health insurance people will lose their jobs. Like, that is like such a perfect thing to say. That's enough to get people to slam the door on it, you know? Like, some people will hear that type of stuff and be like, I don't want to lose my job, you know? Yeah. But, you know, the thing about it is that those jobs are just going to move around. Like someone, like, if the government's doing healthcare, someone still has to do the paperwork for that.
Yep.
Like, we still require paperwork and signatures and medical billing transcription.
And
you just will move what you do, you know?
Yeah, as a guy that grew up kind of rednecky in my life, it was like the fucking, that job was like just the best job you could get. Well, actually, what I'm saying is, as a guy that grew up rednecky, there were a few layers of jobs that you could get, right? And one of the jobs everybody wanted was a government job.
Yeah.
You know, because
Benefits.
It's a better job.
Yeah.
And that's still going to be there. They're still going to need to get their computers fixed, and they're still going to need to there is no system in this world that can exist without a bunch of papers.
Yeah.
They love it. They just can't get enough of it. You know, we look at it and we're just like, let's just like do the thing, you know, now that it's free. Because here's why this came up for me is like my co-host on the POD cast. His girlfriend had to go to the hospital for something last week, so we canceled. She's fine. Everything's good. It was like a precautionary thing. She had to go to the hospital last week, so he had to cancel, right? And I was like, did they give her like any good drugs? And he was like, no. And I was like, you hate to waste a doctor visit on and not get good drugs. And he was like, yeah, I didn't pay for it though.
Yeah.
And I was like, you motherfucker. Yeah, you do. You can just be like, I don't feel right. I'm going to go to the doctor, and it doesn't fuck you up in other places. So,
yep.
Yeah, that stuff's I got this story sent to me right before the show. Some Colorado radio host got fired for saying he wanted a nice school shooting to distract from Trump's impeachment. Shock jock. But
yeah, really going for it.
But I don't think he's a shock jock. I think he is a Denver talk radio host has just been fired after he said he wanted a nice school shooting to interrupt coverage of the never-ending impeachment of Donald Trump. The firing came just hours after a father who lost his son in a school shooting earlier this year said the host should be fired. Oh, he got fired. They were just like, fuck, dude, you're fired. I mean, Nick, you can fire any of these guys now. Anyway, you know? Nobody in the radio is important.
Right.
You know? Yeah, he seemed to backtrack, and he said he was talking about shootings in which no one would be hurt. So, like, he said it, and then he was like, I mean, like, ones where nobody gets hurt, right?
Someone just shows up and shoots the walls.
Yeah, and then people will talk about, I mean, like, do people really, like, I don't feel like people were really talking about the Trump impeachment in the way that that it makes these radio guys think everybody's talking about stuff, right? Because they have to pay attention to the news and what everybody's talking about. My wife, I don't think, knows anything about the impeachment. She's never mentioned it to me. Not once.
Yeah.
I haven't had anybody mention it to me.
I mean, it's just it like their point of view is just so gross that someone that's so deep in like conservative Facebook that they do accept school shootings. Like they've done enough defending of gun rights to say that like sometimes shit happens, you know?
Yeah.
So at this point where they're just like, well, we could use a school shooting right now, you know?
I mean, this guy, Chuck Bonnewell, co-host of a talk show on KNUS 710 AM, made the comments Tuesday afternoon coming back from a commercial break before being immediately interrupted by his co-host and wife, Julie Hayden.
Oh, no. You did that in front of your wife, dude?
Your wife got fired for you. She got fired. The show got fired.
Wait,
the show's off the air. He got fired.
Hold on a second. No, hold on. She got fired for you. What do you mean?
I mean, she's part of the show.
Sure.
Right?
But she immediately was like,
was like, no, don't even say that. Don't call us. Chuck didn't say that. Because she knew.
Yeah.
I mean, you say something like that, and you're like, well, you know, see you later, alligator. And it's just like, these guys get going, and they're just so ugly inside that they can't not do it, you know?
I don't know. I mean, that's it. That's the entertainment that we came up on. You did a whole thing on Shocktober.
These are conservatives, though. This you wouldn't consider this guy a shock jock by any stretch of the imagination. I think conservative radio is actually uglier than shock jock. Shock jock radio lays it bare out there and is like, we're disgusting, we're creeps. Conservative radio is like a guy who wears a suit to be on the radio with his wife and talks about like, Donald Trump all day. That's all he does.
Right.
You know?
Defends the president.
Yeah, but they're so ugly inside that they can't like not say gross shit because their brain works that way. The reason I don't say racist things on this show is because I'm not my brain doesn't work racist ways. I don't find comedy in that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think about it. It's just not something I even would want to do. But these guys they don't shut any things off in their heads, and they don't they just in their heart they want to say something gross like that because it makes them. I don't know what it does. This is an AM radio show. Like, imagine how back in the day you have to be to listen to an FM radio show. And then imagine an AM radio show. Like, he probably said it, and then they went to commercial. He probably looked at his wife and co-host, and he said, nobody's listening. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Nobody noticed.
But people listen to the radio still. It's still on, you know? And information gets to people. So... I got to cover any radio guys getting in trouble. This one was, that's a bad one. Fucking jerks. Those guys are so bad. Like, those AM radio guys are like the dregs of society at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they've spent so much time in those groups. They're so insular. It's just all day long is, you do lose contact with reality eventually.
You do, yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way doing the show. It's like tapping into stuff and then stepping away from it, and you're like, oh, everybody isn't actually concerned with this at all.
No, yeah, that's true, actually. I mean, just like, it's also that impulse. People have this impulse now that when something is maybe oversaid, right? Like if they feel like news will break and within a half an hour, people are annoyed and say they've heard too much.
Yeah.
I've heard about this too much. And like, I think that there is a thing in people that they do feel that way because they're inundated with it over a half hour but they used to just watch it on TV all day. But I guess you have a place to go now.
Yeah.
And say it.
Yeah.
Right? But like, I think that's probably that's the part of his brain he was exercising. It was just like, let's too much Trump coverage. Let's talk about the Oscars or best movies of the decade or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oof. I hope that's a political show, because if that wasn't a political show and it was just like some nice morning AM radio with a guy and his wife.
Yeah.
Burlington Police Commission didn't know about fake Twitter account behind Del Pozo's leave. The chairwoman of the civilian board with oversight responsibilities for the Burlington Police Department said she did not know the specific reasons why Chief Brandon Del Ponzo was placed on paid leave over the summer, nor that the chief had created an anonymous Twitter account to attack a city resident critical of the department.
Yeah, somebody. I should look up who sent it to me, but this was a citizen that had a Twitter account that was harassing the police. I was told they were a leftist, they were a comrade, and they were harassing the police online. And who's this guy?
So he is the chief. And there's more. I got more. We didn't know, said Burlington Police Commission Chairwoman Michelle Ash. We found out not long before it was made public. The chief has admitted publicly that he spent 6 weeks of paid family and medical leave seeking mental health treatment after creating the fake Twitter account.
So he basically made fake accounts to harass one person on Twitter in his town. One leftist that has been pointing out how shitty of a job. It's actually been getting to him. Mm-hmm. You know how I was, you talked about my theory of the last thing you think before you go to bed, where you can say something to somebody about how fucked up their life or their job is, and the last thing they think about before they go to bed is that critique that you made.
Yeah,
it worked on him.
Oh yeah, he was gotten to.
I've also heard this was also through the grapevine, just because this is a tangentially related to the person that sent it to me, that the person being harassed said, I swear to God, the police chief is harassing me on Twitter. And other people were like, you're crazy. You're not that special, right? Nobody cares that much. It's not the police chief.
You know what though? I mean, kudos to him for figuring out who it was. I guess I would never think. I mean, I know the police
reveal
are
themselves.
terrible.
They can't be anonymous.
Yeah.
They're going to say something in some way to let you know who they are.
They're so terrible online too.
They're the worst.
We could do stories every single week about the police fucking around online and just saying something offensive. You go on those cop message boards and fucking forget about it.
They get in trouble all the time for it.
Yeah, they do. The chief told Mayor Miro Weinberger of the fake account and his actions before being placed on leave in July, but for months, few knew outside of the mayor's office, not even the Burlington Police Commission. The Twitter account has since been deleted. Del Pozo had initially denied he was responsible when a 7 Days reporter asked about it in July. Ash said because the leave was a personnel issue and because Del Pozo ultimately reports to the mayor, the commission wouldn't necessarily have been performed. What I did was wrong, and I regret it, Del Pozo said of the anonymous Twitter account in his trolling of Winkleman. It's something that private citizens do quite often, but it's not appropriate for a public official.
Oh, bullshit,
okay.
Yeah.
That's a bullshit apology.
Yeah, that's a no apology.
That counts as no apology, and he was paid leave through the summer.
Yeah.
In Burlington, Vermont. Get the fuck out of here. That's that's like a reward, really,
Lots of
for
good
doing
hiking.
it. Yeah, that's a reward for doing what he did. Because, he didn't have to go to work.
Yeah.
These cops aren't like professional athletes where they're like, gee, I wish I could get back on the court as quick as possible.
Right.
And he knew nothing was going to happen.
He knew everybody in that place wanted to do what he was doing.
Yeah. During a phone interview Friday afternoon, Del Pozo said he didn't want to admit himself or anyone else how the injuries he sustained in a bicycle accident in June 2018 continued to affect him.
Oh.
My skull was fractured in 3 places, 2 different brain bleeds, he said of the 2018 crash while mountain biking in the Adirondacks. I went back to work right away, but the head injuries take a long time to heal. So he spent an entire year harassing a guy on Twitter after his bike accident. I mean, this is why is he a cop then?
Yeah.
That's the thing. They should be doing, look, there's concussion protocols in every combat sport, every sport period, right? Even fucking baseball where I don't think anybody should be getting concussions in that game. But there's concussion protocols there too. And if they cause you to act this way, and the police are so jacked up on roids and shit like that anyway, they should just be treating these guys like athletes at this point, and then
cut them.
Yeah. Hey, you're out of here.
I've never thought it should be a career.
Oh, no. I don't even think it should be really a job.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
Like, I don't even think, like, I don't know. I would rather have just a bunch of people that are doing useful stuff that will also jump in if some violence happens.
Sure.
You know? That's all I need. Again, the Department of Sanitation and Policing to me is like, the reason I say that is because these guys could be like cleaning windows or something, or like getting cats out of the tree, or like fucking doing anything else. And then when something happens that they have to be there, they go there.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. And when something happens, that means only violence.
Yeah.
There's no other reason, you know? So, what a wild dude. Despite his outward stance against the mental health stigma, he said that the same stigma, especially among police officers, is very much alive and well, and it contributed to him ignoring signs that he needed help. And it's that same stigma that kept him from publicly disclosing what he had done in July. He said, this guy is just, I mean, he's using his bike accident.
Yeah, it's a great excuse.
And it would make a normal person feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Like, this article's framed like you should feel bad for this cop that is a cop, a police chief that was harassing one guy for a year online. That's fucking, I mean, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, we just defer to them, though, right? Like, they're in charge.
They are in charge.
Like, I guess you would know best, you know. You know.
Well, I just don't think they don't get in trouble. I mean, if you do a news article, you have to do the part that justifies why the cop did what they did. I think they feel like that's like some kind of impartiality. But it's like the story here should be that this guy harassed a guy.
Yeah.
But that's almost lost in the article that they write, because they add a bunch of exposition that could give maybe an excuse for why somebody would do something like that, other than cops are all out there hopped up. They feel more fucking powerful than ever, and they just go after anybody they want because they feel like they can do anything they want.
Yeah. Somebody sent me a meme that said that more pizza delivery drivers die than cops each year.
Yeah, roofer is like a more dangerous job than the police.
Yeah.
Like by a lot.
Right.
Like more people die doing a bunch of, I think the one I saw said that it was like the 21st most dangerous job, which is like, with the way that they fucking whine and cry about it, it's like, shit, dude.
Right.
You know, you don't have to pull people over. You just don't even have to do that. They're doing fine, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only reason, and I saw a guy turn the wrong way down a one-way today. A bad one, too, right by an off-ramp for the freeway in the middle of downtown on Main Street, near Main Street, which you all know Maine is always one of the main streets.
Right.
He turned down a one-way and everybody was honking at him, and then he fucking panicked, and he was like, kind of, what the fuck do I do? You know, it was like 4:00 downtown Columbus. It's like, he was in the fucking bicycle lane. He pulled to this, because there were cars 4 lined across the 4 lanes of the road. And he was just like, oh, I'll just go over there into the bicycle lane and drive my car. Because I think he didn't think, he thought that was a lane.
That was, yeah. There's 4 lanes going this way and 1 lane going that way.
2 lanes on each side.
Yeah.
But it was just so like, everybody was laughing for 2 blocks.
Oh yeah.
As I
great.
walked down each block, like, people were like, this woman looked at me and was like, these guys are crazy out here. You know, and it was a good time. Good time was had by all, except for the person that panicked. Like, you don't panic when you're on the wrong side of the road. That's the last thing you want to do.
People do. They just keep their foot on the gas, and it's like, no. Like, no, reorganize yourself.
That's why.
Get an exit plan together.
That's why I wrecked into that Chinese food restaurant sign. That's exactly why. I got nervous and I just stepped harder on the gas.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. I could have not done that.
Right.
Pretty easily.
Yeah.
I totaled my car, and like I did something stupid, And as soon as I figured out I was doing something stupid, I just slammed on the gas and drove into a sign.
Get away. Get away from the stupidity. Get away from this embarrassment.
I know, and it was like I was pulling into a parking lot. I could have just pulled right into the parking lot and been okay, but I just drove right up on the sidewalk and right into that fucking sign. It was ridiculous. So Winkleman said he's surprised the chief admitted it, who for the past several months has been fighting to get information and evidence to prove that Del Pozo targeted him. I'm surprised it happened at all. Winkle made a complaint in May about Del Pozo, as well as Deputy Chief John Murad and Deputy Chief Jan Wright, which he wanted brought before the police commission. He said the commission never received that complaint, and both Weinberger and the Burlington City Council have been protecting the chief and the police department leadership from scrutiny. Yeah, that's... I mean, he's right. Like, he's 100% right. I mean, if this guy has to go to counseling, okay. Like, that's fine. But that doesn't, like, excuse what you did. People still had to live in that world, you know? And it sounds like he would... I think it's always just power. They get so hung up on power. They have it, and they use it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's... It, to everybody else that isn't a police officer, you're like, oh, this is just another cop being an asshole. You know exactly the behavior that it is. Like, everything else, you can read through it. Certain people definitely fall for all the exposition, but when you hear about these type of stories, it's like, sure, a cop was an asshole. That's what they're always doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm trying to find the tweets. They're all gone. So unfortunately, no tweets from this guy. But hopefully he loses his job. But I also don't have faith.
Yeah, I doubt
and
that.
No cops lose their jobs. My daughter was talking to me yesterday because they're kind of learning about that stuff in her English class. And she was talking to me yesterday about Zach Rosen, Officer Zach Rosen in Columbus. For the Columbus Police Department, he kicked a guy in the back of the head who was handcuffed. And he also shot, it was Henry Green that he shot, right? Yeah. Shot somebody, and he still works. He's still out doing he gets in trouble for a little bit, and then they put him back out on the street.
Yeah.
And she was like so surprised they would do that. And I was like, they just do whatever they want. They're allowed to do anything they want. She wanted to send her teacher like information on this guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was like, I guess the teacher was apologetic towards it. They talk about Zach Rosen?
No, the teacher is, I think, pretty sociology type person. Like she like is overtly political and seems at least like left liberal, but maybe even just left. I mean, I think like, you know, she really talks about like race. She's the nightmare of the conservative, like,
okay.
like of Paul Pauls. That teacher is the nightmare of Paul Pauls out there. And so Gwen, you know, wants to impress her because she thinks she's cool, and just was like, oh, I'll talk about, because they're reading a book about the death penalty.
Okay.
And so it's cool. She's woke. What can I say? So there was another story this week that I really enjoyed. Starbucks is apologizing.
This is great.
This is all they do. Starbucks sells coffee and gives apologies. Those are the two things Starbucks does. It's all they do. I know you know who they apologize to, because they're always apologizing to them.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be awesome though, because, well, I'm sorry, wasn't there a you said Wendy's at one point, they had a slogan that was "See you tomorrow"?
They used to say, "We'll see you tomorrow,"
to like imply that like you love Wendy's so much that you'll be returning again.
Yeah.
Starbucks should have their like corporate, like from the top down, should just be, you just say "I'm sorry" at the end of it.
I know. Everything.
Here you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, everything ends with "I'm sorry." Sorry. Two of our deputies were. So it was after a California sheriff's office said two of its deputies were ignored in a store. Two of our deputies were refused service at Starbucks, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco said on Twitter. The anti-police culture repeatedly displayed by Starbucks employees must end. Which, The police, the two warring factions in this country are the police and Starbucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what this situation is really.
Well, okay.
Like, did they really stand at the counter, and did they get mad that no one jumped up to serve them immediately?
That's what it's. This is what it sounds like to me, because let's go further into it. But even the phrasing of the first sentence is like, Starbucks is apologizing after a California sheriff's office said 2 of its deputies were ignored in a store.
Okay.
And then immediately went online and said that they were refused service, which
Okay.
is not the same as being ignored at the store. And if I get ignored at Starbucks all the fucking time.
Yeah.
You know, you go in there, sometimes they just ignore the shit out of you. That's the way it is.
Sometimes it's catch-up time.
Yeah. So Starbucks spokesman Reggie Borges told CNN the deputies were ignored for nearly 5 minutes.
Oh, my goodness. So...
They were ignored for 5 minutes.
They did the thing where they, like, tap their card on the counter, and they kind of look around everybody and, like, hold their arms out, like, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
And they think that's refused service?
It's violence against the police, I think.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, like,
that's Starbucks.
I know.
That's fast food. All of fast food, it's a dice roll when you walk in what it's going to be. Sometimes they have to play 10 minutes to catch up, and you just have to sit there and fucking watch them. You have a computer in your pocket you can play with while they do that.
Yeah, I've done it, dude. I've gone in there and they've had to clean shit and stuff like that, and they're back there cleaning it, and there's nothing they can fucking do about it. I mean, I guess they could turn around. I mean, I'm sure the rule is that they turn around and say something like, "Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry, it'll just be a minute." But even if they don't, like, what the fuck do you expect? Here's the thing about Starbucks now. They take online orders. And like every business that takes online orders, they don't have any way to fucking handle that. They don't hire enough people or have the equipment to handle the online orders. And sometimes when you get in the store and you'll just stand there because either A, they think you ordered a drink and you're just waiting for it from the internet, or B, they're busy making the drinks for the fucking internet. Like sometimes there's not a lot of people in the store, but they can't get to you. And the reason for that is online.
Yeah.
The whole online ordering system is fucking everything up. And
look
like,
at the posters when you walk in, and on the sneeze guard as you walk by that says like download the app. Like that's what they want you to do. They don't want you to come here.
Yeah.
They don't want you to come here and stand in front of the register. They want you to go on the app.
Yeah, they want you to walk in, grab your drink, and walk out. Don't fucking bother them. Right now, they're busy with the app orders.
Right.
But that's such a standard thing. That's not even like something you should be allowed to get mad at, let alone make a fucking news story on CNN for. This is not news.
No.
2 cops had to wait 5 minutes, and they stomped out and then made a big fucking national story out of it.
Yeah. We're not refused service. We're never told they were refused service.
No, ignored. And ignored is I don't believe the ignored part either. I don't believe it.
Sure.
I believe it was an accident. Because again, I've been saying this. I've been thinking this for a while. And like, I think that like Grubhub and Uber Eats and stuff has put a fuckload of strain on workers at restaurants.
Yeah.
Because more people are getting food from these places than ever before because there are a lot of these like fast casuals and stuff where they can just deliver it to you, and a lot of people are fucking doing that. And then there's also people in the store. So you're like essentially running 2 businesses out of that store, but they still just keep the same amount of number of people to run one business.
Yeah, all they do is they're like, this is called a mobile order. A piece of paper will just shoot out of this printer at random, and you're responsible for that as well, as if somebody walked in this fucking place.
Yeah. Just think about how much more likely you are to order food than you are to go get.
And it's just all been chiseled down too, where like, Grubhub at the beginning was like, hey, get restaurant food now. And it's now to the point where McDonald's has partnered with it for free delivery, and they'll just like hand the shit to you.
Yeah.
Every time you do a search, you're like, you're fried rice, and it's like McDonald's.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're totally right about that too. Where it's like those search algorithms stink. And like, I mean, nothing's really open. And again, you're right. Like, not all the restaurants are doing it, but I mean, I think enough restaurants, especially the fast food places, probably have a ton of strain. I just can't imagine they're taking care of that. I mean, it's almost like the delivery stuff should happen in another location.
Yeah.
Because having it happen at the store is nobody's happy about that. Like, nobody that's involved in the interaction leaves that interaction happy.
Yeah. That is happening as well, though. Ghost kitchens are a thing. There's like fake restaurants
I know.
that have no seating at all, but are just like a commercial kitchen where they deliver stuff all day.
Yeah, it's gross. Most of it's gross. We have Cluster Truck here, and that's okay, but it's always $50.
Right.
And for 3 people, not just for me. And but yeah, you'll go on sometimes, and like you really gotta you really gotta do some searching for some of these places and see what they're doing.
Actually getting.
Yeah, because some of them are wild. So the Starbucks fucking president guy, spokesman, poor spokesman.
Oh God,
Reggie Borges.
Why did he get involved with this?
I would have just been like, okay, like, oh, you got bad service at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay. Reggie Borges, we are deeply sorry and reached out to apologize directly to them. We take full responsibility for any intentional or unintentional disrespect shown to law enforcement on whom we depend every day to keep our stores and communities safe.
Oh, really?
They
fill out the paperwork after someone smashes a window.
Okay, listen to these fucking guys lying. Listen to this.
Okay.
The deputies were laughed at and completely ignored, Bianco said in a video. They tried to get served. They asked if anybody was going to help them, he said. Eventually, they left. That's a lie. I bet that's a lie.
I don't know. Maybe there's a good Starbucks employees out there.
There is a chance that maybe one person would do it, but everybody working in the store would laugh at the police and say, "We ain't giving you shit." Do you think that is possible?
I guess, I'm dreaming too much.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way.
Maybe they deserve it.
Yeah.
I think
I'd love it.
This is part of the job. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's probably a Starbucks across the street where you can get a coffee in 4 minutes. But like, yes, some people don't like you.
Yeah.
This is the hardest pill for them to swallow over the last decade. Really, is that some people can now openly say they don't like the police.
They're just really bummed out.
I feel like we've been doing it forever, though, and it is still not very popular.
Yeah. Starbucks put the
but they would not like what would happen if we actually got like some momentum going.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, we would like really decimate that job.
Hopefully.
Right? Like I would just like that job
just
would
make
be the worst job you could
have to
ever
hide
have.
your uniform. We just should make it the cops have to hide their uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, because like they don't proudly say that they're cops. Like, we should make it so bad.
Yeah.
And I do like that. It would be funny if cops had to go change and then go to fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
And then put their clothes back on for their shift. I don't want any spit, okay? I mean, I wouldn't fucking eat the food, really, because I would think everybody was spitting in it.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you think that?
It's true.
I mean, when I see them, I want to spit, like, instinctively. I just want to spit on the ground in front of them and be like, take that.
Yeah, this feels like just one of those I want a manager things, It just feels like this isn't fair because I think that I deserve to be praised and like people aren't praising me, and it's like I find something else to do something that people praise,
Yeah.
Why don't you try that?
Get a Nobel Prize or some shit like that. I mean, there's a million different things you can do to get jobs where people like you.
Yeah.
Fireman is one of those jobs where people are like, oh yeah, the fireman, we like them. You still get the braveness out of that job too.
Yeah.
Fireman. Ambulance guy. We love them. They don't get paid very much, and we know that. And they should be paid a lot more. But people love them. It's prestigious. You don't get to be that with a cop. People hate you because you suck.
Yeah.
So, there's two. They talked about the pig coffee cup, but I'm fairly certain This cup of coffee for a pig is just another little flag. It's another tiny symptom and a nearly indiscernible shout from a contemptuous, roaring, and riotous segment of misanthropic society that vilifies those who stand for what's right and glorifies the very few people who would usher in the destruction of the social fabric, Chief Johnny O'Mara wrote on Facebook.
Bullshit.
Get out of here, man. That story ended up being bullshit, too. Like a little joke between buddies.
Yeah.
And then it fucking turned into a news story because they were joking around.
Yeah. The pig story?
Yeah, the pig story wasn't he, one of the cops was friends with one of the guys that was working there.
Yeah, somebody that worked there put it on there as a joke to them.
Yeah.
And they ran with it.
Because they were buddies.
Yeah, because they knew they would get a hit on like libertystream.xyz.
Yeah, well, it worked, man. The whole world, Starbucks versus the police. It isn't going to end, man.
Nobody's going to step in and be like a brave police coffee place?
There are some,
Dunkin'?
I'm sure.
Can Dunkin' do it?
Well, I mean, there's probably got Blue Lives Matter coffee places.
I love
cities.
that they don't give it up. It's funny because like on our side, it's just like, fuck Starbucks. They're corporate scumbags. I'm going to drink local. I'm going to drink coffee from places I know, or like, fuck Anheuser-Busch. They're a multinational corporation that fucks people over. I'm going to drink local and shit. These people are like, no, I should have the most mainstream product ever, Like they aren't going to just find something else besides Starbucks,
True. They won't go somewhere else.
No, this won't make them choose differently where they spend their money. They're just like, no, Starbucks should be American and say Merry Christmas on the cups.
yeah, they just want control of it.
They want control of it, yeah.
Why? It seems like such
Go where you're welcome.
Yeah, I know. They're just like so mad. They get so mad at like Target and Starbucks, which are two companies that suck shit.
Yeah.
And they are always mad at them. They never stop. They think they're close. And the NFL, too, has turned into one of those things, too, because of Colin Kaepernick. He drives them fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And he's not even there. There is a Blue Lives Matter Thin Blue Line coffee roast I found. I don't know if it's at a shop. It's Black Rifle Coffee. Which
I know
like
them.
A dumb coffee, probably. But a roast. Oh, okay. So
yeah,
no, there's not a coffee shop though. Like if they had a fucking coffee shop, it would be like that's where the police should go.
It's just hilarious to me that they love Starbucks so much
I know.
that they can't give it up.
I know.
They want to be a part of it, but they're just like, they can't go get a McCafe from McDonald's or something, It's the same fucking sugary bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, I know. They probably make it in the same place at this point. They really are like planting a flag in Starbucks, and they just
like, no, we want to be welcomed here. We want to be fully welcomed here. We feel like second-class citizens at Starbucks for being conservative or having traditional values.
It's the same thing. Target's the other place. And there's the Starbucks and Target is fucked,
Yeah.
Got this news story a lot yesterday. So we got to talk about it, Brett. So goodbye to comfort breaks. New downward tilting toilets are designed to become unbearable to sit on after 5 minutes.
Yeah. We got this from a million different people.
Oh, yeah. I want to say first, I would like to try to sit on it for more than 5 minutes, of course.
Sure.
I would just do it for like 2 hours, really.
So, to kind of explain it to people that don't know and are just listening, it's a toilet, but instead of having like the surface of it be level, it's like a downward tilted angle.
Which is also bad for shitting, right?
13 degrees or something, they said, like they dialed it in.
I think it's 13 degree angle, yes.
So, yeah, terrible for shitting. I mean, you need to have that opened up.
Yeah.
Like, gargoyle style is the best. Like, the absolute best is, like, if you're perched and you're, like, all the way down. That's when you're, like, completely open.
That's what I'm going to do.
But,
I'm gonna get like a little ladder on each side of my toilet and poop like a dog in.
They're gonna have to pay for like hemorrhoid like care and like all kinds of straining, and you can't have that angle is terrible.
Yeah, an extended office bathroom break could be a thing of the past thanks to a new toilet that developers say will make people want to leave the loo after 5 minutes.
They said it makes your legs fall asleep faster or something. I saw.
Well, that happens to me anyway.
Yeah,
I don't
bad
care.
circulation.
Very used to my legs falling asleep while I'm shitting. That's part of my life.
It is. I mean, I have to say, you know that stupid fucking Elmo meme?
Yeah.
The boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I poop on company time.
Yeah, people love that meme though.
This is a toilet designer that like saw that in the middle of the night and is like, I'm going to fight back against this culture.
He's making money.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking, it's hostile architecture. It's the same exact type of person that figures out new hostile architectures to make up.
When I was just talking to somebody at the AEW watch party about how they worked for UPS and they had breaks, but you walking to the break room didn't count.
Yeah.
And I had the same at the warehouse at Abercrombie where we had 15-minute breaks, but that included a 3-minute walk to the break room and a 3-minute walk back. You had 9 minutes, really.
Yeah.
And this is the same. This is where you get your power back, where it's like, well, I'm going to use the restroom then, you know? I'm just going to go sit on the toilet.
Yeah, you can, it gets you off whatever line you're on for a minute, and it's nice.
Yeah.
And it's not even like, I know people like say as a bit that they shit for a long time at work, but I don't really think I don't even think people take advantage of it, really. People are scared. People don't want to even be seen as being in the bathroom for a long time in public. That's my nightmare.
People do one game of Candy Crush and feel guilty about it.
I know.
Like, people aren't really stealing the way that they should.
Yeah. I mean, you could take a half-hour shit. People probably do it, and they probably maybe do it once a month or something when they're having a really rough day. I mean, here's the dirty little secret about going to the bathroom at work where you steal time is like, it's kind of like high school where you're wandering the halls. Like you walk to the bathroom and you grab ass with everybody on the way to the bathroom, and then you walk back and you grab ass with everybody on the way back, and then you sit down. It's all the fun stuff you do in between. It's not the sitting on the toilet.
You're still in the fucking toilet. Yeah. Like, you're sitting in a restroom. It's not the most ideal place to be.
I know. I mean, if you go in there and read your phone for a little bit, I don't think that's even fucking.
They're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on probably $100 of time theft.
Right, exactly. The standard toilet, created by a startup company of the same name, has been backed by the British Toilet Association, a group that campaigns for better bathroom facilities in offices and public space. The British Toilet is. Hi, I'm the co-chairman of the British Toilet Association. Toilet.
It's probably not a bad job.
Well, I mean,
there's lots of puns.
Yeah, they shouldn't have accepted this toilet though.
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that like if you cared about people's colon shelf opening up properly, you would not allow a 13-degree downward angle.
No,
you're no expert at all.
No, I hope people just start shitting on the seat.
Yeah.
The seat is sloped forward by about 13 degrees to increase strain on the legs, similar to a gentle squat thrust, according to developer Mahabir Gill from the Standard Toilet. The Staffordshire-based company, of course it comes from England, says it has already had interest from local councils and motorway service stations for the £150 to £500 or whatever toilet seat. They hope to also target offices, as they believe cutting down on the length of employee bathroom breaks would dramatically improve productivity. This is pure hostile architecture, by the way, because I think they're getting at like people. I have noticed recently, because it's been very cold, there is a restroom over by in this park we have that is warm. It's heated, and people are like sleeping in there right now.
Yeah,
and like people are hanging out in there reading and stuff like that, and they're really trying to get past this kind of stuff because, like, again, the toilet is like the only safe space.
It's a base.
Yeah, it's like you can't do anything at toilet.
Yeah, and the boss has to let you use the toilet, right?
Yeah, they can't tell you no.
Right.
They're not allowed to tell you no. I mean, it was always like, even with teachers, it was like she would say no, and then I'd be like, I mean, you have to let me go, and she'd be like, all right, fine, go.
Yeah.
You know, because he knew I was gonna smoke. But why didn't you use it during break? I'd get yelled at like, why didn't you use it during break? But it was just like, time. You know, I want to go now. Sounds fun. It's estimated that in the United Kingdom alone, extended employee breaks cost industry and commerce £4 billion a year. So that's probably in the billions of dollars too. So they're guessing billions of dollars. People are doing time theft, like using the bathroom, and they're doing that in a way that's on purpose. And, like, they're not just, like, exhausted and they don't want to be there and they feel horrible.
This says nothing about, like, the work and the amount of productivity that's happening. You know, people are doing more than ever. People are doing multiple jobs. People are handling stuff more than ever. And it really doesn't matter if someone does everything that you want them to do and they spend 1 hour on the toilet every fucking day, why do you care?
Yeah.
What does it fucking matter?
Yeah. It doesn't
That's just
hurt.
how it gets done.
Yeah, the work gets done by letting me sit on the toilet a lot during the day because I'm like fucking stressed.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to get away from these people that you forced me to sit around.
Right.
So he was inspired by time working as an engineer when he would find workers asleep on the toilet or from queues for public bathrooms. So he just didn't want to wait in line anymore. And a survey by Protecting the UK carried out in July 29 across 8 UK cities found that some people were spending up to 28 minutes in the bathroom while at work. Okay. That's fine. That's like such not like a big number. It's a couple times. Brett shits like 4 times a day.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, sometimes you got to go to the bathroom. That's part of being a human. That's like, it's the same thing with lunches. It's like, you got to let people eat.
Yeah.
You know?
It's necessary.
Shitting and eating. Those are the 2 things you're always allowed to do.
They hate it about us, though. They really are annoyed that we do that.
No, they really want robots for that. So, Brett, get your headphones ready before we get out of here. We're gonna hear some. We're gonna listen to some audio here about a little thing called the War on Christmas, which I'm covering this year extensively.
Yeah, you are in it.
I am. Jason, I might have you stop. Go ahead and play it.
Eric and I were talking about what's going on with impeachment and the FISA and all that. But will you guys be able to just forget about all of it and really enjoy the fact?
So this is Eric Trump and his wife and their sweet little baby. Not sweet. It's bad. It's
Demon baby.
Trump. Yeah. And they're being interviewed by Judge Jeanine Pirro. Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Fact that you really are part of the first family. You are the first family. I mean, you've done wonderful things for this country. We now don't have the political correctness that we used to. I mean, people are actually saying Merry Christmas.
You can say Merry.
Okay, so you can say people. We don't have that.
Finally.
Everything's different now.
Well, you know, back in the day, you remember when there was those squads of gunmen that would throw you against the wall if you said Merry Christmas?
Yeah.
It's nice not to have that.
Yeah, days are over.
You can breathe easy again.
Yeah.
We're allowed to celebrate Christmas, you know. No, we don't have any government officials going door to door checking for Christmas trees. Like, it feels like a burden's been lifted in society.
The police leave the Starbucks after not getting served and beat you up for saying Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
You can go.
Merry Christmas again.
Yes,
Isn't that
yes.
so nice, Jeanine?
I love it. I love Christmas trees. I love Santa over here. I mean, you know, how do you feel that your father has done all of that, Eric?
It's incredible.
That's a grown woman who was also, I believe, now somebody could tell me I'm dumb and this is like a Dr. Phil situation, a judge. And she is sitting there and she says, I like Christmas. I like the Christmas trees. I like Christmas presents. I like Santa. It's like, first of all, Santa is not Christian. Santa's not Christian. I'm sorry. He's not a Christian man. He's agnostic, actually.
He's secular.
Kind of, though. He might be Christian because he doesn't give presents to other people. Santa. But he is
because he only gives them to Christians, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But he gives them to me, too.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. He will give them to you even if you don't believe in God.
Yeah, I'm an atheist. shouldn't get anything. Go ahead and play the rest.
It is nice to say Merry Christmas again, and it is a beautiful thing to celebrate all the holidays with beautiful little kids like this. I mean, this is what America's all about, and this is what the American dream's all about, and this is why we have an incredible country, because we can sit there with the Santa Claus and with beautiful trees and eat ice cream and open presents and love one another, and and see little ones grow, and it's the best of this nation, and I'm proud of him for reinvigorating so much of it.
Okay, so that was the stupidest bit of audio. Those were adults talking.
Yeah, grown people.
Like the people that are in charge type adults. Like the adults in the room.
No, we're all sitting, their conversation is being broadcasted to millions of people.
Yeah, they're the top of the hierarchy. They're near the top of the hierarchy of power, right? And that was the dumbest thing. You know what else the conservatives are really mad about now? Somebody, I don't think it's a lot of people, suggested that Santa Claus being a white cishet guy means we should get rid of him and make it into a penguin. And it's like, okay.
Who said that?
Just some person. You know how people just say stuff?
Yeah.
The conservatives are taking it so seriously. They're melting down about it.
Because one tweet?
Because just I think it was just a person that said we should turn it into a penguin instead of Santa Claus. And it's like, that's not going to happen. Number one, I promise you, Santa's not going to turn into a penguin. Maybe in 100 years, Santa's going to turn into a penguin, but you don't even care what happens on the planet now. I can't imagine you give a shit what's going to go happening on the planet in 100 years.
Yeah. I have never, it's really hard because you don't know how much they are doing for entertainment purposes. Right, or because they feel like there's a battleground happening, right? Or they're trying to push that.
I mean, Nathan.
But how could you possibly feel no one has ever told you to stop doing Christmas?
Nobody's ever done it. And even if there are people who have done we're around leftists. We talk to a lot of them, and they talk to us. And I haven't even found one that was just I know people are going to post now that, they think Christmas should be illegal. But they would be even, people like celebrating things. It's nice. They like to be around their family. And this is just an excuse for that.
Yeah.
That's really in the end, that's all this is. And if you... I was listening to Mancow today bragging about how when somebody says happy holidays to him, he says Merry Christmas back. And he's like, they get so mad. And it's like, no, they don't care. Nobody fucking cares at all.
They have nothing to do.
I know.
There's no evidence of them having injustices against them. They're just making it up constantly.
I like how bad they feel, though.
Someone thinks we're misinformed about Christmas.
We are?
Yeah, some asshole.
Well, I am misinformed about Christmas, I'm sure. I just consider it a day that I go hang out with my family.
Yeah. There's no objective nature to it at all. It means a million things to a million different people.
Yeah, that's how I feel, too. That's the only thing I feel. I feel like, it's just Christmas. You know what I mean? I do it. Sorry.
Yeah, I would love to see a war on Christmas. It's just not happening.
It would
it's
be
weird
so
to see
good.
someone pretend like they're being persecuted for doing Christmas.
Yeah. Well, it would feel really good if there I would feel like we were winning if there was an actual war on Christmas. You know what I mean? If the State House wasn't able to put out their nativity scene, I would be like, okay, I think the tide's turning. This is one of those things that's in my mind as one of the tides turning, where people are just like, no, fuck this. We're not doing this anymore. It's wrong for many reasons that I don't know right now. Probably just religious shit. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't like religious stuff. But again, I don't do it. I just don't. I celebrate Christmas by saying, you guys want to come over? I'll make a better dinner tonight.
Yeah, I like
than
buying stuff for
usual.
people.
Yeah, and buying shit for my friends and family. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, you know.
Did I get in trouble?
Yeah, it's not enough.
What'd I say?
No, you're fine.
Oh, I thought somebody was yelling at me still in the chat.
No, it's just some dumbass.
Yes. We're misinformed on like basically everything.
Yeah.
Like if you're listening to this show and you think
and
there's any information happening, you're crazy.
And if you can look in a book that tells you that like Christmas is about Jesus and shit, I mean, I'm sure the book says that, but like everybody else doesn't give a fuck about Jesus and is still doing Christmas.
That's what I always tell people. That's the one of the things when I get into these fights with these conservatives, I'm like, I mean, I'm going to keep... This is the same thing I say about the war on drugs. It's like, the war on drugs will never stomp out all drug use in the world because I'm never going to stop using drugs.
Right.
So I am like
they
a
can't
holdout.
win. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's the same thing. It's like, I mean, I'd stop Christmas. You know what I mean? But like, I'm just doing Christmas because it's the thing you do this time of year. That's how I was raised. That's how I came up.
I mean,
I don't like Jesus or anything. I don't give a fuck about him.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's about connection. I mean, the human animal is very much about togetherness and family and all of that. And, we get a lot out of that.
Yeah.
Without the other bullshit.
Yeah. So we're going to be back on Sunday.
Yes. The moving date got changed. So we're doing a call-in show this Sunday, the 22nd.
Yeah. So we would love... you will all have been to your parties. And you will all have gotten your bonus. And we'd love to hear from you and shit on your bonuses. Right? Like, that's what we do this time of year. We find out about the bonuses. Then we talk badly about them.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
We find out about your bonus and then we tell you it's not enough. And you tell us. I mean, most people are telling you what they're getting and it's like company merch and shit, you know?
Yeah, somebody had a really good one. They said the OSU Medical Center, they used to work for them, and you could either drive to a location to go pick up a $10 gift card to the grocery store, or you could just donate your $10 to the OSU Medical Center. It was up to you.
That's
was your
a good one. Though.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Like donation. I've said this about the buying. Like you can do a donation and give people the note, and I'm sure they really like it. But you could also just like, I don't know. Like I think there's some people who probably use that. Buying a star. Like I'm just gonna buy stars from people from now on. And just say, yes, we'll get some certificates made.
Sounds good.
You know?
Yeah.
Just like we want to get bereavement excuses. We're going to get funeral programs printed someday and give them out so that you can call off work for a bereavement day and bring it in and get the day off.
Right.
So, coming soon, I guess. So, come and see the variety show. We're not going to push it huge here at the end because... You know what's going on. It's December 27th.
December 27th. Come to the live show in Columbus, Ohio. Merry Xmas to all of you.
Actually, this is the one time of year I get a little sexy. Triple Xmas.
Triple Xmas to all y'all. Secular motherfucking Santa rolling over all of your religious fucking principles.
That's my thing, dude. For like Frosty the Snowman. Is tight to me. Like he's way better than Jesus.
Yeah, I
like
love
all
him.
the
He's
Jesus,
more magical too.
The aesthetic of like Christianity sucks so bad. It's like all brown to me. Like I get like a really brown and orange vibe from it.
Sure.
It's like khakis, you know?
Well, thank you for tuning into the show. And we'll see you later this week. You can find us on all the normal platforms at Street Fight WCRS. Thank you, chat, for living it up. And fuck you to the one motherfucker that you know who you are. Peace out.
What did he do?
Nothing. He's nobody.
Who was it? What?
Some weird right-wing loser dude that like
is a right-wing guy?
Yeah. At first I thought he was one of ours, but then he was complaining that we were talking shit about Jesus.
Oh, so we